Why?
Great.
What were you thinking and why?
Okay. So look, I knew it was a difficult choice, and I knew that I'd get a lot of criticism for my choice. But I felt as a leader I had to do it. What does a leader do? When you're a leader, if you see a real crisis a little bit down the road, your job is to stand up and say, we cannot do that. Senator. And that's what I do. I wake up 3 in the morning sometimes, so worried about the future of the country under these oligarchs or whatever, or, you know, oligarchs, yeah. I guess.
No, you don't. You're not worried about the oligarchs.
Yeah, you're not worried about the oligarchs, but
so that was Senate Minority Leader.
But not for the reason why I'm gonna like. Me and Anna definitely on different wavelengths with that one, but I got to remember which channel I'm on. So, moving right along. If you guys want to check me out on Bring the Ass to Red News, you're more than welcome to. I get a little bit more, you know. Moving right along. Anna is going off on these feckless Democrats. Whoopi's yelling at Schumer. I don't know why these people feel like yelling is going to change anything. I already have my conclusion or assessment, rather, of what's going on in our government. And it's going to sound like, not to say crazy, but, well, we'll get there. Anyway, this is Anna demolishing Whoopi Goldberg and the left and Chuck Schumer and everybody else that she can get to. And so let's go ahead and take a look at it. By the way, guys, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button and the notification bell. It really, really helps. We're tackling the hard issues here. And only on this channel and my other channel, you're going to get the inconvenient truth. All right.
Leader Chuck Schumer attempting to defend himself from the sheer rage Democratic voters have been expressing against him over his decision to essentially help Republicans pass their government funding bill, also known as the continuing resolution, which will keep the government funded through September. But there are some serious issues with that government funding bill in that it gives President Donald Trump the authority to unilaterally reallocate funding that's been appropriated by Congress to other, areas as he wishes. And so you have Chuck Schumer, who was talking a big game, talking about how he's going to fight Donald Trump, fight the Republican Party, block this bill. And then all of a sudden, once he realized that House Speaker Mike Johnson managed to whip up the Republican votes necessary in the House to pass their version of the CR bill, turns out Republicans called his bluff, and he wasn't actually willing to fight the Republican Party on the legislation.
I have a different take on this, but I'll come back to my take in a few. What I will say is this. That actual process does not bother me. I think that there are times where a president needs to have as much control as possible. However, I know I come from a line of thinking that is bordering on what people would call fascist. Look, okay, we're a constitutional republic. Please, when is the last time you really, really fully felt represented? I will say most of the people in my audience probably feel more represented now. That's good, right? But look what's happening. He's taking the reins and doing some serious things, making some hard decisions and doing what he needs to do. My, again, only problem is who is around him and what do they get? Where are the funds that are being allocated to other places? I got to get back on my research again and find out where those funds going. Because it's not, look, if it was just Trump running things on his own, literally, I would be fine with that. Yeah, I'm MAGA, right? Trump is the MAGA, not technocrat MAGA, not inclusive MAGA, not, H1B1 MAGA. I'm sorry, I'm not that, right? So if it would have been just him, yeah, I'd have been fine with it. But it's the people around him that freak me out just a little bit. I'll get to the rest about, so I'm not Ana Kasparian. That's the thing. The other part is that, for her, I don't know what she thinks, but I don't agree with her on everything. But let's just get to the rest.
So since then, there have been calls for Schumer to step down from his leadership role in the Senate. But he argues that, no, he's actually doing the right thing here. He is protecting the federal government from being dismantled by the Trump administration. Take a look.
If we ended up a shutdown 3 weeks from now, people would come to me and they'd say, they just cut off my Medicaid. They just got rid of my veterans benefits. Stop it. And I said, we can't. We're in a shutdown. And then they'd say to me, why did you let the shutdown happen?
Yeah.
So a lot of people responded to the anguish. I appreciate it. I am I wake up 3 in the morning sometimes, so worried about the future of the country under these oligarchs or whatever, or, oligarchs, I guess.
Oligarchs, I guess. Now, look, if Schumer is such a great leader who could foresee the pain and suffering that Americans would be faced with as a result of the government shutting down, well, then why did he, A, pretend like he was going to fight the Republicans? But more importantly, B, if he intended to pass a government funding bill, as a continuing resolution, if you will, why didn't he engage in negotiations with the Republican Party, knowing that Democrats actually had some leverage in the Senate when it came to this matter? Why didn't he negotiate to at least get some of the Democratic priorities included in that bill? In the end, Democrats got nothing, zilch, okay, zilch. And then at the same time, you have the Republican Party effectively calling the Democratic Party leadership's bluff on fighting the Trump administration.
See, now this is where it wouldn't be a problem if we didn't have people in our government, again, who are beholden more to the donor class. I hate saying stuff like this because it just makes me sound like, I don't want to say a leftist, it just makes me sound generic. I'm not generic. There's nothing generic about me. But if our elected officials were beholden to us, I still wouldn't have a problem with it, because even the Republican congressperson would know to put America first, so much to the point that everybody benefits no matter how much you hate him, okay? That's how I always wanted to be, going into politics and government and stuff. I was like, look, I'm going in as a Republican, but I care about Americans. And I care about Americans, right? I was like, I'm gonna, find out what's going on and get some answers for the people. The people need answers. I'm a freaking night shift nurse working in the ER and trauma, and not the ER. I was working in a trauma unit at the time. So something has to be done. We're not getting the right answers, and I still think that we're not. I'm sorry, I do still think that we're not. But it would not be so horrible. But the problem is that while she's saying the Democrats got zilch, and yeah, they got zilch, I'm sure I do. I need to really go look at this, because we've been talking about JFK files and everything else. I need to see what Republicans got from this continuation or whatever, that they just signed. Because does it mean that the American people got something? What did we get? Because the last time I remember when they were doing this fight about CRs and all of that, and this is before Trump was sitting as president and Biden was leaving, Trump was president-elect, and they were fighting and everything, and it was like, oh, well, we're going to still not, we're going to still go along with this bill and have the continuing resolution because we need to get this aid out to Ukraine and Israel. That's what happened, okay? And we didn't get anything for the border. We didn't get anything. We, meaning me, Republican, didn't get that. And I was like, there's something is going on around. I said, this is crazy. So what Anna does is she still lives in this left-right divide type of thing. I live in America first, right? So now I want to go back and look and see what did the people get. But yeah, Democrats are old and feckless. I mean, they're tired. They're finished. I'm not shocked. The other last part I'll say real quick is that I think that we have a serious uni-party happening, and it's in our faces. But the thing is, they can't tell you, like, we're just going to go along with the Republicans. I mean, Hakeem Jeffries pretty much said it, right? But I feel like they have to put on the act. We're going to fight, and then they still go along. And then who's winning here? I got to look at those papers. I'll see you guys at the next one. Bye.